Hello, guys. Today, I am going to be studying the ASVAB for dummies. I am going to study the paragraph comprehension part. And you're probably wondering why I am studying for the ASVAB. Well, I am trying to get into the Air Force. Okay, so I am going to read Chapter 5, the paragraph comprehension. Any other organization would call this section of the ASVAB the reading comprehension subtest, but the Department of Defense is a stickler for precision. You'll be reading paragraphs, darn it, so you're being tested on how well you understand paragraphs. Not words, not sentences, not essays, but paragraphs. One thing you get from basic training is that comprehending the drill sergeant's orders and the information in your instruction manuals is important. The ability to read and understand the written directions in your basic training manual can save you and your buddies hundreds of push-ups. Trust me on this one. The paragraph comprehension subtest measures your ability to understand what you read and draw conclusions from that material. It contains a number of written passages and questions about those passages. After you enlist, you'll discover that the military runs on paperwork. If you can't read and understand a regulation, how are you going to follow it? On the paper and pencil version, you have 13 minutes to answer 15 questions. If you're taking the computerized version of the ASVAB, you have 27 minutes to read the passages and answer 10 questions. If you get tryout questions in the paragraph comprehension subtest of the CAT ASVAB, you have 75 minutes to complete 25 questions. I covered tryout questions in Chapter 1. Okay. Understanding the importance of paragraph comprehension for military jobs. The paragraph comprehension subtest is an important part of your AFQT score, which is the most important score because it determines whether a particular branch of service lets you join. The score is so important that I plan to keep on repeating it until you are mumbling the AFQT is the most important score in your sleep. The vast majority of military jobs require a decent score on the paragraph comprehension subtest. In fact, you'll have a hard time qualifying for any branch if the ASVAB shows the military that you won't understand the written orders you'll receive. For example, if the directions in the military, if the examples in the military recipe make your head spin, how are you going to use it to cook an edible meal for 2,000 troops? Assuming you want to become a military cook, that is, Table 5.1 shows the military qualification line scores that are calculated by using your paragraph comprehension subtest score. Let me grab a sip of water. Okay. Table 5.1. Military line scores that use the paragraph comprehension score. Branch of service line score. U.S. Army, clerical, general technical, operators, and food, surveillance, and communications, and skill technical. Okay, number 2, U.S. Air Force. That's the one I want to join. Administrative and general. Number 3, U.S. Navy and Coast Guard. Administrative, general technical, health, and nuclear. Ooh, cool. Number 4, U.S. Marine Corps. General technical and clerical. Chapter 2 has more information about military line scores. See Appendix A for information on the scores you need to get the job you want. Eyeing the physique of the paragraph comprehension subtest. When you get to the paragraph comprehension subtest, you have several passages to read. Most passages are only one paragraph long, and rarely are they longer than 2 paragraphs. Each passage contains between 50 and 200 words. Look at it this way. At least you won't be required to read War and Peace. The ASVAB test authors may ask you to answer only one question about giving reading passage, or they may ask you to answer as many as 5 questions about one passage. Unfortunately, this subtest doesn't consist of the most interesting passages you'll ever read. You won't find paragraphs from your favorite sci-fi novel here. It's important that you set your attention span dial to the maximum setting. In order to understand what you read, which is that the paragraph comprehension subtest is all about, you need to develop several abilities, which I cover later in this chapter. Okay, finding the main idea or argument that the author is making, remembering specific details about the reading, drawing conclusions from what you've read, understanding relationships between ideas, paraphrasing or summarizing what you've read. Okay, sampling the 4 types of comprehension questions. The paragraph comprehension questions on the ASVAB usually take one of 4 forms. Finding specific information, recognizing the main idea, determining word meaning in the context, drawing an implication from a stated idea. Each type of question asks you to perform a different kind of analysis of the reading passage. If a passage has more than one question associated with it, chances are each question falls under a different category. The following sections spell out the differences among these 4 types of questions. Treasure hunt, finding specific information. This type of paragraph comprehension question asks you to pick out, you guessed it, specific information from a passage. Sounds easy, right? Take a look at the following passage, which clearly states the answer to the question that directly follows it. An industry-made association found that more than 13,000 martial arts schools, by the way, I did martial arts school until I was in 5th grade. Well, no, technically until I was in 6th grade. I quit jiu-jitsu when I was in 7th grade. But I stopped at blue belt in karate, but then I did jiu-jitsu for about a year, I think. So yeah, cool. Okay. So let's move on. Okay. In the United States, with nearly 6 million active members of the school 13,000 schools, nearly 7,000 offer Taekwondo lessons. According to this passage, how many people actively participate in martial arts lessons? Okay, so the answer is C. So the answer is C, which is 6 million. Okay, at times, the information that a question asks about isn't directly stated in the question, but you can infer the information from the text. Remember, in the military, the only easy day was yesterday. Ready to go on a fact-finding mission of your own? Underline the facts in the following passages. Surveys say that around 45% of dogs sleep in their owners' beds, and as many as 70% of people sign their dog's name in holiday cards. Still, some people are cat people who won't give dogs a second thought. The average astronaut makes under $150,000 per year, but it's a tough job. That's not for the faint of the heart. The training is very rigorous. It's no wonder so few people try to become astronauts. Ooh, I want to become an astronaut too. It's just not worth the major payoff. Okay, so you know what? Hold on. Remodeling your kitchen may cost more than $10,000, but how much you spend is up to you. You may only want to put in a new sink, which costs less than buying new counters and laying a new floor do. Don't let anyone pressure you into spending more than you can afford. Mark Twain didn't smile in pictures. In fact, he once said, a photograph is the most important document, and there is nothing more damning to go down to posterity than a silly, foolish smile caught and fixed forever. Most people during Twine's time took photos very seriously. Okay, we're going to stop there for today. So yeah, that was a brief summary that I read of the ASVAB, paragraph comprehension. I'm new to it. I'm new to this section of the book, so I studied some of the math section and the vocabulary. I memorized a lot of the roots, the prefixes and suffixes, so now I'm trying to learn comprehension reading in the ASVAB for Dummies book. So yeah, so there you have it. You have some information and a brief summary about what the ASVAB is about, and I'll do more videos of these in the future. And peace out, guys.